Hi students, another video with Miss Robinson explaining things. What we're going to talk about right now, excuse me, allergies, is an explanatory rubric. And I know that's something that you hear and you sound super excited in response. I'm sure right now you are cheering and screaming, you're so excited. But no, really, it's really important for you to know how you're going to be evaluated when you're writing. Not just because of the grade, but because this really, honestly, I'm the first to be critical of rubrics and materials created that I am forced to use, but I love this rubric. I love the argumentative rubric as well, because I think that these are really good examples of and explanations of what it takes to be a good explanatory writer and what it takes to be a good argument writer. And excuse the formatting over here. When you get a paper copy of this one in class, it will look a little different. What you're going to be doing in class in response to this video is you are going to be making a checklist for each area of this rubric. So as usual, the first area is purpose, focus, and organization. And you may think, like, why are each of those not split into their own section? But purpose, focus, and organization are so interdependent on one another. And you'll see as we read through this rubric. What you always want to focus on, honestly, as a writer, in my opinion, is level 4 for each section until we get to conventions all the way down at the bottom. Ooh, that was weird. Okay. Until we get to conventions all the way down at the bottom, because level 4 is not possible. 2 is the highest, as you can see. But you want to focus on the highest levels because that's what you want to achieve, obviously. The other level descriptions are really for me. Because if I see that it's not a 4 and I'm trying to decide what it is, I read these descriptions to see which list of descriptors most closely resembles what you have going on in your paper. So this first section is purpose, focus, and organization. And you can see that it needs to be clear the purpose of your essay, meaning that I need to know as the reader why you're writing it and what you're attempting to do. If you're attempting to explain the positive or negative effects of nature on students, then that needs to be clear the entire essay. If you're attempting to make an argument that students should be able to go out without any curfews, that should be clear throughout the entire paper. The next thing is clear and effective organizational structure, creating coherence and completeness. And so ultimately, what that looks like is having a really good, really clear introduction and conclusion, and also having some body paragraphs that have wonderful topic sentences so that it's really obvious to the reader what every part of the essay is for. The introduction should be really clear and give them an idea as to what the body paragraphs are going to be addressing. The body paragraphs should each be clear and have sufficient evidence, which is actually in the next section, but the topic sentence should kind of tell the reader what they should be reading in each paragraph. And then your concluding paragraph should tell the reader what they already learned and add a new insight, maybe explain the importance of what you've already explained or an effect or real life consequence of what you've been talking about. Next is clearly stated controlling idea. Again, the controlling idea is the last sentence of your introduction, and it ties everything together. Everything should tie back to your controlling idea. You should be able to say the controlling idea is my umbrella, and I'll show you a picture of that later when I make a video with my document camera, hopefully. But the controlling idea is the umbrella, and everything should fit under it, meaning it should have little or no loosely related material. So you should be able to look at every single part of the essay and say, yes, this builds up to or supports my controlling idea. Next is skillful use of transitions. And this is something that we've been working on in class, and I want you to continue to focus on. Logical progression of ideas with satisfying intro and conclusion. Again, we already talked about that. Appropriate style and objective tone maintained. So Make sure that your style is intellectual sounding, none of this, hey, reader, or what's up, or anything like that. We want to sound like intellectuals. We want to sound like scholars. Next is evidence and elaboration. So this really is focused in your body paragraphs. Thorough and convincing support and evidence. So not only should you have 2 quotes per body paragraph, but those quotes should truly support your controlling idea and build up to it. They should be related to it. They should give the reader a better sense of what you're trying to explain. Next, effective use of sources, facts, and details with cited evidence. So proper citation is essential for getting a 4. And then using effective quotes, quotes that work. They're doing a job. Smooth integration of sources and specific references. This is important for those of you who really struggle with integrating your citation and your quotes smoothly into a sentence. We need to work on that because that's important for getting a 4. Next is effective elaboration, connecting sources to ideas, shows understanding of the topic and text. And again, this is not only explaining what the quote means, but explaining why it's important, what its effects are, and, if necessary, how it ties back to real life. Then clear and effective expression of ideas. So clarity is essential, and I get you guys on that all the time. Some of you get really frustrated with me when I mark everything clarity, question mark, and talk to you about clarifying your ideas, but readers cannot read your essay effectively if they can't understand what you're saying. Then strong academic vocabulary and varied sentence structure. So it shouldn't sound like see, spot, run. Jane and Jill ran up the hill. It should sound like complex and compound sentences, a mixture of those, having some dependent clauses or multiple independent clauses in a sentence. And we've worked on that this year. Next is conventions. So conventions are grammar, sentence structure, spelling, appropriate word usage, etc. So adequate command of conventions, some minor errors, no patterns. So if you're a person who struggles with punctuation and you consistently punctuate incorrectly, you're either going to get a 1, or if they can't read your essay, a 0 here. Adequate punctuation, spelling, and capitalization and sentence structure. So those are the big 4. Number 1, punctuation. Number 2, capitalization. 3, spelling, and 4, sentence structure. So those are the 4 things you should be reading to check your essay for. What I want you to do after you have interacted with this video appropriately, there should be multiple choice questions as we go. After you have done that, you are going to work to come up with a checklist for conventions. So what things should a person do if they want to get a 2 out of 2 in conventions? A checklist for evidence and elaboration. What things should a writer do? What elements should they have in order to get a 4 out of 4 in evidence and elaboration? And finally, purpose, focus, and organization. So again, what things should a writer do, or what elements should they have in order to get a 4 out of 4? I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to making these checklists together in class because these will help you and hopefully help me to better teach you. Have a great day, and I look forward to teaching you.